Hey everyone, today I wanted to discuss a term that I heard, I want to say about 5 years ago for the first time, white privilege. And I always kind of was curious about it. I didn't really understand it. I still don't really 100% understand it. I looked it up online because I'm an idiot. In simple terms, white privilege refers to the advantages and benefits that white people often experience simply because of their race in a society that is built on a system of racial inequality. And I really started to give this a lot of thought because I've never really felt like a person that has a lot of white privilege. My parents, when I was growing up, would work really hard. My mom was a shoe salesman in the mall. She used to stuff old people's feet in their shoes, Al Bundy style. We never had a lot of money growing up. My dad worked for the railroad for, I want to say, about 4 decades. I remember specifically one day he cut his thumb off at work, and he was like debating whether he should turn it in and file it as a claim because he didn't want to mess up his safety record. But I mean, the dude almost lost his thumb working for the railroad. And so I just think about white privilege, and I'm just like, my parents have worked their asses off just to kind of provide a life for me and my brother, and our family. And so I've just been giving it a lot of thought, and I'm like, I think about my own life, and I've grown up. I worked hard, and I've had terrible jobs. I started working as a warehouseman when I got when I was still in high school, and I made like $6 an hour, just lumping heavy ass 55-gallon drums of oil and putting them in the back of trucks and taking the empty ones out into the stockyard and smashing my fingers in the cold and just trying to make, I remember I got my raise and it was 35 cents, and I was like, that's not even going to cover my MIP, you know what I mean? Like, my MIP was like $350 at $7 an hour. Do the math. That's a lot of hours lumping oil. But we never had a lot of money growing up. I remember we used to get phone calls, and I remember, if you've ever experienced this, where it's just like, don't answer the phone, don't answer it. I mean, you know what that means, right? That was a bill collector, and they were about to try to cash in, but we didn't have no monies, so we couldn't give them any money. I remember we used to get secondhand clothes, and I was in high school one day, and I walked into one of my classes, and I remember specifically Henry Dills was like, dude, are you wearing my shorts? I was like, no. He's like, dude, pretty sure those are my shorts, man. I was like, no, dude. He's like, no, look, there's a clip that's broken. That's where I hooked my shorts on the cupboard and broke the clip. I was like, no, these are mine, dude. I broke that clip. Anyway, I probably shouldn't use his real name, but I used to have Henry Dills shorts, Like, that's how we grew up. So, I never really felt like super privileged, white privilege. So, I always tried to like make my own, like when I got into college, I remember sitting at the table with my dad. We didn't have a lot of money. I had to take out student loans and go to college. And I remember I was working 3 jobs through college. I was a janitor, and then I worked at FedEx lumping boxes. And and then what was my other job? Oh, I was a maintenance man at a hotel. During the weekend, I'd be super hungover, and I would just lay there with the phone next to my head, and it would just ring, and they're like, we need help in room 312, and it would be a clogged toilet, and I'd just be hungover, plunging in the toilet. I always tried to make people feel bad if they clogged the toilet. Like, if they were in there, I'd just be like, oh, God dang it, what did you eat? Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, it doesn't feel like white privilege to me. And then I got out of college, and I graduated, and I remember I had to try to pay my student loans off, and it was $189 a month, and I owed, God, I can't even remember how much money I owed, but it was the same thing as the MIP. It was like going to take forever to pay off. And I remember one day my grandma died, and when she died, my dad gave me $10,000 to put towards my student loans, and shit. There's the white privilege. I found it. Damn it. I do have white privilege. Shit. All right. Well, anyway, that was my talk on white privilege. Hope you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.